Good morning, students. In today's class, we're going to deal with the summary of the essay The Man in Black. But before I take up the summary of the essay, let me tell you a little bit about Oliver Goldsmith, his important works, and about the citizen of the world from which the prescribed essay has been taken. Oliver Goldsmith from 1730 to 1774. Anglo-Irish poet, playwright, and novelist. Oliver Goldsmith was born in West Ireland in 1730. His father was a country vicar who died at an early age. As a result, Goldsmith was forced to depend on his uncle for financial support. Goldsmith studied at Trinity College, Dublin. He courted through a variety of professions, finally settling on medicine in 1752. In 1756, he embarked on travels through France, Germany, Italy, and Switzerland. For many years, he works as an apothecary, assistant, school usher, physician, and a back writer. However, he soon rose to fame with his inquiry into the present state of polite learning in Europe. Goldsmith also came to the notice of Samuel Johnson, who invited Goldsmith to join his exclusive Turk's Head Club. Through Johnson's patronage, Goldsmith began to publish his first master works, including the novel The Vicar of Wakefield. His other works include The Citizen of the World, a collection of essays written in 1762, an elegy on the death of Mad Dog, ironic poem written in 1766, The Good-Natured Man, a comic play written in 1768, She Stoops to Conquer, a farce in 1773, and The Deserted Village, a poem on rural depopulation and the enclosure movement written in 1770. His important works include The Deserted Village, The Vicar of Wakefield, and She Stoops to Conquer. Now, when we talk about Oliver Goldsmith's style, Oliver Goldsmith's essays reflect two significant literary transitions of the late 18th century. The larger or more general of these was the beginning of the gradual evolution of Romanticism from the Neoclassicism of the previous 100 years. Oppressed by the heavy rule of reason and the ideas of taste and polish, readers of this transitional period gradually began to respond more to the imaginative and the emotional in literature. This transition serves as a backdrop for a related evolution that played an essential role in the development of the modern short story. At this time, the well-established periodical essay began a glacially slow movement away from its predominant emphasis on a formal exposition of ideas. Contemporary essayists, none more prominent than Goldsmith, began to indulge more their taste for the personal approach and for narrative. The result was increased experimentations with characterization, storyline, setting, and imagery. Concurrent with these developments, style, theme, tone, and structural patterning received particular attention. Varying degrees and types of emphasis on these elements pushed the essay form in many diverse directions. Of all the contemporary essayists, Oliver Goldsmith best reflects these developments. Now, let me tell you a little bit about The Citizen of the World, from which the prescribed essay The Man in Black has been taken. Goldsmith's The Citizen of the World vividly illustrates the variety of experimentations in the contemporary periodical essay and is of great importance in the history of the Asian tale. With this vigorous appeal to the imagination and emotions, the Asian tale marked a major step towards Romanticism. More important, its popularity at a time of significant literary experimentation led to an interesting mixture of two literary traditions, the essay sketch and the tale, which serves as a bedrock for the development of the modern short story. Goldsmith incorporated the current enthusiasm for Asian motifs in his collection of essays. He used the device of the frame tale associated with the recently translated The Arabian Nights Entertainments 1706 to 1708 to give the collection its unity. The frame is supplied by a traveling Chinese philosopher who observes the customs and society of London and writes his observations to friends in the East. This narrative point of view affords Goldsmith an infinite variety of techniques and subjects. His basic strategy is to start with a discursive essay that leads to one of the two general avenues. On the one hand, from this point, Oliver Goldsmith may proceed to build a soapbox from which the Chinese philosopher expounds on morality and philosophy. In these essays, Goldsmith normally maintains the norm of the didactic essay. On the other hand, Goldsmith may proceed to an appropriate observation on English culture by the Chinese philosopher. The observation may elucidate a philosophical point or a moral lesson. These essays illustrate the increasing interest in narrative and personality and place a larger than customary emphasis on glimpses of daily life. There are also variations on this idea. For example, the Chinese philosopher's observation may take the form of a tale which completely dominates the essay, or he may focus almost exclusively on descriptive details of action or people or settings, a strategy which culminates in a sketch rather than an essay. The latter occurs in letter 26, where the Chinese philosopher describes for friends in his East his English acquaintance, the man in black. The Chinese philosopher begins by remarking that his friend's manners are tinctured with some strange inconsistencies. Curiously, though, he is generous even to the profusion, he affects to be thought a prodigy of parsimony and prudence. The Chinese philosopher has known him to profess himself a man-hater while his cheek was glowing with compassion. By way of example, the Chinese relates the adventures of a walk they shared that begin by happening in discourse upon the provision that was made for the poor in England. Before we begin with the summary of the essay The Man in Black, let me tell you in brief what the essay is about. The summary would be taken in detail in another class. The man in black is a man whom the writer describes is a man with strange inconsistencies. He is different from the rest of the world, and what makes him different is that he is always eager to hide his natural benevolence, compassion, and pity. He poses to be a man who's parsimonious, prudent, who doesn't like the poor, who doesn't believe in helping them, but in the heart of the hearts, he has a feeling that he ought to reach to these people. During one of the walks with the writer, he is at length discussing upon how these people have been given the privilege of so many kinds by the government, still they are not contented. They are asking for more, and he says that these people are basically impostors, every one of them, and everybody merits a prison rather than some kind of relief. This is what the man in black is expressing while he's talking to the writer. And then there are 3 episodes in which you are acquainted with the real character of the man. In the first episode, we encounter a man who's a beggar and who has taken up the profession to support his dying wife and few hungry children. The second episode is of a sailor who has lost his limbs, and the reason that he gives is very strange. He says that he has given up his limbs for those who do nothing at home. And the third is the most miserable creature in the essay, and that's his lady who's asking for a lot of pity, lot of compassion. And this third case is the case where the man in black is not able to camouflage his feelings. He openly comes out in support of the poor and the needy, which he had avoided in the early 2 instances. So the essay is about how the man in black is different from what he appears to be, what he feels for the poor and downtrodden, and what he wants the people to know about him. The rest of it and the essay in detail would be taken in tomorrow's class. Thank you.